We are back with yet another video on the GDPR or the General Data Protection Regulation. In the earlier videos, we have covered some basic terms under the GDPR and also we have covered the territorial jurisdiction. You can check out the videos right here. Yes. You can check out the entire playlist. Go now and click. Before we get into the video, did you know that you can run these videos at 1.5x the speed? Yes, go into the setting, you can adjust the speed and view these videos at 1.5x. That way you can view the entire video and also save some time. So now, as usual, we will be joined by the data protection enthusiast CS Grishma Dave, who will take us through in this video. We will be covering some principles under the GDPR and also we will be covering the rights which the data subject has. So here's getting straight into the video with CS Grishma Dave.
So, of course, every law has their own principles on which they are based. Why the law is there are principles. And same way, GDPR is also based on certain principle. So, it says that whenever you are collecting the data, the collection or whenever you are processing the data, not only collection, but processing the data, it should be in a lawful, fair and a transparent manner. Like how I said that cookie policy, when you are saying accept or reject. So there also you are giving that you give an option to the user that, okay, go and check our cookie policy, how we are processing your data, how much data are we going to store and for how much period we are going to store. So that is a transparency that you are giving, right? You are telling that, okay, I'm going to perform like, going to use your data like this or store like this for so much period. Now, when you're collecting, it should be collected for a legitimate purpose. Like cookies, you will be, it's collected for monitoring the behavior and just to know ke bhai user ke preference kya hai, what is its preference. So advertisement thoda easy ho jata hai unke liye, ads uske hisab se. So if the company is into providing the services or goods and services, so unke liye advertisement is a big deal, right? To know your behavior, how you behave. So yeah, it is for the legitimate purpose. There is an explicit and specified purpose for that. जैसे policy में लिखा होता है, which is on a public platform website पे upload कर दो policy how you are processing. And फिर you need to say that okay, only adequate and relevant limited data you are taking. You need to process for some specific purpose. उतना ही data तुम लोगे. तुम unnecessary चीजें नहीं पूछोगे उनके लिए. Then it should be accurate. The data that you are giving should be accurate. If there is any change of data and I inform that, okay, this thing has changed. So it is your responsibility that you update it. Your responsibility, when I say it is the responsibility of the company that they update it. When the data subject says that their address has changed or their phone number has changed. So the data should be accurate. It should be identifiable in a manner, if a company is storing the data, it should be identifiable in a manner that जितनी आइडेंटिटी चाहिए उतना ही आइडेंटिफिकेशन करेगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. ठीक है, if I just want to know the name, तो उतना ही आइडेंटिफिकेशन करेगा, which is all the work of the company and the information technology team, security team, that कितना पासवर्ड प्रोटेक्शन देंगे, ये पासवर्ड डालने से इतना ही इंफॉर्मेशन बाहर आएगा and stuff like that. So that's
उस तरह से एक टैग भी उस तरह से रखना चाहिए, टेबल्स रखने चाहिए कि ये किया, ये दिया तो इससे इतना ही डेटा जाना चाहिए, ज्यादा नहीं जाना चाहिए. You may have data, but then what to reveal? So like you said, stored in a manner that it permits identification. इतना ही डेटा अगर चाहिए तो इतना ही डेटा जाना चाहिए. ऐसा.
Yeah,
that is exactly. A very important this aspect of security basically.
Yes.
बहुत important है ये.
One of the principle of GDPR is integrity and confidentiality. So as per this principle, the controller and processors are obligated to keep the information confidential in the sense that there should be one authorized person who should be having access to that information. And also it should be secured in such a manner that no one can break that security. access should be only to the one person and should not be more than one person, or only to few people who are working on that project, or who it is necessary for them to provide the to have access to that information. So one of the principle is confidentiality.
Access should be restricted, you are saying, to the authorized person.
Only to the authorized person, yes.
And also, if I may ask, so what about the penalties? So is the penalty to the authorized person if any contravention is there, or it is to the company itself? How is it?
Okay, so GDPR has defined penalties, how, and it has defined the maximum penalties. Now it differs from case to case basis. Confidentiality is broken at what level? Breach is broken, how much is the damage? So it will depend, it will be adjudged by the court of law, that how much penalty or fine should be imposed on the controller or the processor, as the case may be. So it's case to case wise.
Okay.
And there is I would say a lump sum penalty which has been mentioned in the GDPR Act, and it's a maximum.
Okay, so that we will be covering in the subsequent part.
Then there should be some accountability. GDPR makes controller accountable. It also makes processor accountable, but there is another, I would say, discussion topic, that kitna kaun accountable rehta hai. But the ultimate accountability is of the controller in the case of GDPR, because controller is a person who determines the purpose and the way processing should take place. So yes.
Is there any personal liability on the processor or the controller? Ki agar nahi hua, probably a person who is in charge with it. So what type of a liability it is? What type of penalty would be for non-compliance?
So there is no personal liability to a singular person, because but yeah, there are fines in case of non-compliance. The company would be liable, but there is no natural person or employee of the company who will be personally be made liable. Whatever the non-compliance happen, the fines will be imposed on the company, not a single person. Yeah. Yes.
So now we come to the data subject rights.
Yes. So I find these rights very amusing. I mean, I'm very happy that data subject has all these rights. By this, I can actually ask companies to delete my data, not to send me unnecessary marketing emails and things like that. So I find it very, I would say, wow, that I have this right. So first right is right to be informed. So while collecting the data, the controller or the processor should inform the data subjects. Basically, the controller should inform the data subject why they are collecting their data and why they are processing it. The next is right of access by the data subjects. This right means that data subject can ask the companies to provide their data, whatever data they are handling. They can ask the company to provide them a copy with that what all data you have about me. Right to rectification. This is a right wherein a data subject finds that, okay, company has misspelled my name, or my phone number is incorrectly been captured by the company. So a request can be made by data subject to rectify the errors that company records has. And the company will have to obliged by the data subject request. Right to erasure is something wherein data subject can ask the company to right to erasure and right to be forgotten is synonymous, and data subject can ask companies to erase their data, whatever they are handling, if data subject feels that it has no connection with the company and company should not be handling their data. So this is related to that. It can also ask company for restrict processing of the data if data subject feels that for the company process, only my name and phone number should be there, and if company has more data than required, then data subject can ask for to restrict the processing of the data. Data portability, the company should easily, if the request is made by the data subject, then the company should easily port the data from one company to another company. There should not be a issue. This you can see in right now also, if you want to port from one mobile cellular service provider to another, so we can easily port our data from one to another. Right to object, data subject has a right to take any objections if they have with respect to the processing or how their data, personal data is been handled. So this is also the right which is given to data subject. Automated individual decision making, including profiling. This is something that इसमें कैसा होता है पता है profiling में, that there is name, address and everything. So I'll provide number 1. So I do not have to remember क्या है, मैं सिर्फ unique number दे दूंगी and then it is how in medical cases we have this unique identification number.
Yeah.
The doctors and other people do not need to know my name and everything. They'll just ask me for my unique identification number and the things will be there out. So this is how profiling is. So the next right is automated individual decision making, including profiling. So when you say automated individual decision making, it means that certain companies which processes the data on a large scale, they might use the automated to process the data. So in that case, the data subject has a right. If you are making using the automated decision making tool, then please refrain from that and kindly process my data manually. So yes, so in that case, automated individual decision making, including profiling, you can say that company who processes the data on a larger scale, they might just say, instead of they might just give an unique identification number to the to one person's name, address, the phone number and everything. So instead of using that unique identification number, the data subject can request that no, you will be using the data that I give only for processing and not by automated means.
Okay, got it. अगर मैं इसको समराइज करूँ राइट्स को, तो मैं अगर मेरा डेटा गया हुआ है एंड मैंने डेटा दिया है, पहला है इन्फॉर्म, तो मेरा द कंपनी हैज टू इन्फॉर्म मी कि मेरा कौन सा डेटा तुम ले रहे हो मेरे से, मेरे कंसेंट के बाद ही तुम ले सकते हो. फिर एक्सेस, इफ आई वांट तो एक कॉपी मुझे दे सकते, आई कैन रिक्वेस्ट स्पेसिफिकली कि तुम्हारे पास क्या डेटा है मेरा, मुझे एक कॉपी दो. अगर उसमें कुछ गलती है तो मैं उसको रेक्टिफिकेशन बोल सकता हूँ. मैं उसको इरेज करने का भी एक रिक्वेस्ट कर सकता हूँ कि मेरा आप इरेज एंड फॉरगेट करो, मेरे को कॉपी दे दो, कुछ गलती है तो रेक्टिफाई करो, या तो इरेज एंड फॉरगेट कर दो. उसके बाद प्रोसेसिंग रिस्ट्रिक्ट करवा सकता हूँ, मेरा इतना सारा डेटा है बट उसमें से इतना ही प्रोसेस करो. पूरा गांव भर का डेटा मेरा जमा करके रखा है, लेकिन मेरे को जो रिक्वायर्ड है उतना ही करो. अगर नाम और एड्रेस रिक्वायर्ड है तो उसके बाद डेट ऑफ बर्थ प्रोसेस मत करो. वैसा इन वेरी सिंपल टर्म्स.
Yes,
डेटा हाँ, तो और डेटा पोर्टेबिलिटी हुआ, तो इफ आई हैव टू एंगेज अनदर सर्विस प्रोवाइडर और पोर्टेबिलिटी की बात आ गई, तो ऐसी फॉर्मेट में दो कि वो भी पर्सन उसको एक्सेस कर पाए. इतना कॉम्प्लिकेट मत कर दो कि बंदा उसको एक्सेस ही नहीं कर पाए. तो पोर्टेबिलिटी भी तुम उसको एनेबल करो. फिर ऑब्जेक्ट में कि भाई कोई डेटा तुम कर रहे हो तो डेटा सब्जेक्ट हैज अ राइट की टू ऑब्जेक्ट सच अ प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ दैट डेटा. एंड फाइनली कि वी कैन रिक्वेस्ट कि ऑटोमेटेड नहीं, मैनुअल प्रोसेस करो, या जितना प्रोसेस हमको चाहिए उतना ही करो, एक्स्ट्रा मत करो. ऑल दोस राइट्स एज अ डेटा सब्जेक्ट, एज अ इंडिविजुअल, आई हैव फॉर प्रोटेक्टिंग माय डेटा, एंड द कंपनीज और द एंटिटीज आर बाउंड to give me all those, and are bound to oblige.
We hope you are finding these videos useful. Do let us know in the comment section your feedback about this series on GDPR. Also let us know how do you feel, whether these laws, the data protection laws, are required, and whether India should also have their own set of the data protection regulations. Let us also know what other rights should a data subject have other than what we have discussed in this video, and also we'll be continuing with this series. So do like, subscribe, stay tuned.